Simulan mong abutin ang iyong pangarap na magbibigay dangal sa iyong bukas. Ang suliranin, hindi laging nandyan, dapat mong harapin. Kami iyong kasama sa bawat takin, magkaakbay nating lulutasin. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Ang mga aral ay ginintuang atin ng bawat guro na siyang gagabay sa iyong pagkamulat. Naway umukit ito sa iyong isipan, maging mapanuri, sundin ng wasto at nararapat. Kagandahang asal ang ipakita, ipadama ang pusong may malasakit. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Sakali mang tayo'y subukin ng unos, ating haharapin ng walang takot. Sasamahan ka ni Fernan at Dino, ang bagong barkada mo. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, edukasyon mo'y sigurado na. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, edukasyon mo'y sigurado na.
Fernandino Teens TV.
Bagong umaga, yakapin mo ang bagong pag-asa. Simulan mong abutin ang iyong pangarap na magbibigay dangal sa iyong bukas. Ang suliranin, hindi laging nandyan, dapat mong harapin. Kami iyong kasama sa bawat takin, magkaakbay nating lulutasin. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Ang mga aral ay ginintuang atin ng bawat guro na siyang gagabay sa iyong pagkamulat. Naway umukit ito sa iyong isipan, maging mapanuri, sundin ng wasto at nararapat. Kagandahang asal ang ipakita, ipadama ang pusong may malasakit. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Sakali mang tayo tayo'y subukin ng unos, ating haharapin ng walang takot. Sasamahan ka ni Fernan at Dino, ang bagong barkada mo. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, edukasyon mo'y sigurado na. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, edukasyon mo'y sigurado na.
Fernandino Teens TV.
Uy, Dino, ba't ba parang tulala ka riyan?
Oo nga, may problema ka ba?
Napakaraming salita ang nais kong sambitin. Ngunit, parang nabibitin sa hangin ng mga nais kong bikasin.
Hala, hugot ba yan?
Naku, Dino, huwag ka na nga problema dyan. Manood na tayo ng episode ngayong araw. Sakto sa problema mo ang magiging talakayan. Tara, let's
Let's
G!
G!
How have you been? Yo, hello. These three may sound so different from one another, but they actually all mean the same. Each one is a greeting. In the vernacular, pangangamusta. However, for Nandina teens, can we actually use any of these to greet anyone we meet? Let us evaluate your speaking skills in this simple matching type game. To whom can you say these given greetings? Which is most appropriate to use in greeting your parents? What about in greeting your cousin from US whom you have not seen for a long time? Lastly, how would you greet a friend? You have 5 seconds to type in your answers on the comment box below. Time's up, Fernandina teens. Let us see if you got them right. In greeting your parents, it is most appropriate to simply say, hello. It is formal yet casual. And in greeting a cousin you have not seen for a while, it is only apt to ask, how have you been? And in greeting a friend, you cannot get any more casual than simply saying, yo. This only shows how each word we say can impact our daily lives, how our character is reflected in our manner of speaking, and how even a simple greeting that we utter must be well thought of because of its implications on who we are and who we are talking to. How do we avoid saying the wrong words to a certain person? How do we know which words to use to a specific audience? Communicating what we feel or think is really hard for Nandina teens, especially now that there are so many platforms available for us to speak out and to be heard. It is so easy to be misunderstood because of a simple tweet, simple meme you shared, or a simple reaction you posted. So stop what you're currently doing and join me here for a while in learning about the various communicative or speech styles based on level of formality. I am Kimberly B. Machas, your teacher presenter for today. Our choice of words and how we phrase the structure of our sentences can greatly affect the message we send across to others. The main factors to consider in communicating with others are your audience or the people you are talking to, the occasion where you are, the subject or the topic of the conversation, and the purpose of the communication itself. And these various manners or ways of speaking are communicative styles, or in most references, speech styles. According to Martin Jus in 1976, a linguist and German professor, these different speech styles vary depending on the degree of formality. He classified the 5 different speech styles from the most formal to the least, namely frozen, formal, consultative, casual, and intimate. But before we discuss the 5 communicative or speech styles, kindly look at these pictures and guess which of these is frozen, formal, consultative, casual, or intimate. The first picture shows a group of classmates laughing with each other. The second one shows Pampanga Governor Dennis Delta Pineda speaking in front of the public. Third is a shot of one of the scenes of top Korean drama Crash Landing on You. The fourth picture shows a student leading the pledge to the flag. And the fifth picture depicts a patient talking to a doctor who is assisted by a nurse. Can you take a guess which picture is which? What speech style is expressed in each picture? You have 15 seconds to guess, Fernandina teens. Which one do you think exhibits frozen speech style? Which one is formal? Which is consultative? What about casual or intimate? Oh, this could be tough. Are you done typing in your answers in the comment box? Great! Now let us chew over. To check your guesses, let us have a brief discussion on the different communicative or speech styles. To begin with, let us learn about the frozen speech style. Frozen speech style is said to be the most formal of all 5 types. Its distinguishing characteristics are it is fixed and does not need a response or feedback from audiences, and is usually in long sentences in perfect grammar and broad vocabulary. Since frozen is highly formal, it can be used only in limited occasions. Fernandina teens, which picture have you chosen for frozen communicative or speech style? You were right. It is picture number 4. Pledges, which are shown, are examples of frozen communicative style. Other examples of respectful situations where you can use frozen communicative or speech style are court proceedings, weddings and funerals, where everything that you have to say is already fixed. Same thing goes with national pledge, anthem, school creeds, and marriage ceremonies. There you have the frozen speech style. Meanwhile, we are going to pause for a while for some reminders. When we come back, we are going to deal with the other speech styles. Stay tuned!
Ang Schools Division Office City of San Fernando, Pampanga ay kaisa ng Department of Education sa pagsasagawa ng mga proyekto at programa na tumutugon sa mga pangangailangan ng mga mag-aaral. Inilunsad ang Division Call Center for Tutors and Guidance Counselors upang magbigay ng educational at psychological assistance sa mga mag-aaral, magulang at stakeholders ng Division. Kaya, Kung may nais kayong itanong tungkol sa pag-aaral, maaaring magpadala ng mensahe sa Division Call Center for Tutors and Guidance Counselors Facebook page o tumawag sa mga numero na makikita sa ibaba ng inyong screen tuwing Lunes hanggang Biyernes sa ganap na alas 8 ng umaga hanggang alas 6 ng gabi. Maaari rin kayong sumangguni sa ating guidance counselors na nagbibigay ng guidance and counseling services. Lahat ng inyong ibabahagi ay mananatiling confidential. Ang nasabing programa ay nagsisilbing daan upang malaman ang feedbacks ng stakeholders para matulungan ang ating divisyon na mapagbuti pa ang mga sumusunod na programa. Ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Tumawag na sa aming mga numero o bumisita na sa aming Facebook page at magpadala ng inyong mga katanungan.
Fernandino Teens TV.
Welcome back to Fernandino Teens TV. This time, let us examine the second speech style, the formal communicative style. This type uses formal words and expressions and is usually seen in writing more than speaking. From the name itself, it is formal and is used when speaking to medium to large groups, and also in conversing with strangers, older people, or other professionals. Even though it is not as fixed as frozen style, it is important to note that in formal style, you must think about your words and how you organize them in your head thoroughly before speaking. So which picture did you pick as formal? Was it picture 2? If you did, then you're right. Governor Delta giving a speech is an example of a situation where formal style is used. More examples of that are meetings, school lessons, and interviews. This style is almost as if it is planned, unlike the third type, which is consultative style. Consultative, on the other hand, is a style wherein the speaker is spontaneous, meaning the things the speakers say are often in response to the other person, so sentences are shorter and grammar lapses may be present. It is an operational conversation, so a person will supply information and another will provide feedback. So basically, it is a speech style or a communicative style that we all use most of the day, specifically when we want to know something from someone. With that said, which picture most probably depicts consultative style? Did you guess picture number 1? Sorry, but picture number 5 is more appropriate because, as mentioned, you use consultative style when we want to know something from someone. And in the picture, a patient is consulting a doctor about her health. Consultative style is also evident in recitations at school, discussion among companies, group discussion, and in conversations between teacher-student, doctor-patient, or expert-apprentice. However, conversations among classmates during break time and that between colleagues at a cafe is considered as under casual communicative or speech style. Casual style is used in informal situations, and language is often relaxed, so slangs may be evident. There is a closer relationship between the persons involved in the conversation, so inside jokes may be thrown here and there is free and easy participation of both speaker and listener. And due to the pandemic, the use of social media has become one of the most common platforms for casual conversations. Looking back at our 2 remaining pictures, 1 and 3, which do you think exhibits casual style? Yes, Fernandina teens, it is picture number 1. Although there is a relationship between the persons involved in both pictures, picture number 3 falls under intimate style. Intimate style is completely private language used within family, of very close friends or group, or people involved romantically, just like in this picture from a popular Korean drama. And since intimate is used in private conversations, grammar is completely irrelevant. In terms of endearment, slangs, or expressions only a group of people may know may be present. This means that non-verbal communication may be used more often than actually speaking, like how these two are looking at each other in the picture. No words are said, but expressions are obviously manifested. To further strengthen your understanding of these types, let us scrutinize. With the help of our friends, who will be reenacting the scenes from famous movies and television shows, you will analyze the speech type employed in the scenario. As you watch the scenes, try to scrutinize the words the speaker used, their facial expressions, and the overall feel or ambience between or among the characters. Are you ready, Fernandina teens? Tara, G! The first scene is inspired from Marvin Agustin and Jolina Magdangal's iconic 1998 movie, Labs Kita, Okay Ka Lang?
If you're angry with me, tell me. I will understand because you are my friend.
Oh yes! I am your friend! I am just your friend! Your best friend! The one who gives you advice when you are in problems. The one who gives you encouragement. The one who falls in line for you during enrollment. I am that someone who accepts anything. And I am so stupid to make the biggest mistake of falling in love with my best friend.
What do you think about that scene, Fernandina teens? Is it formal, consultative, or intimate? Correct! It is intimate. It shows personal feelings between our two characters. Now let us see the next one. This dialogue is based from the 2017 released film which featured an unexpected pairing of comedian Empoy Marquez and actress Alessandra De Rossi, titled Kita Kita, which was so popular it had an Indonesian remake.
Konnichiwa. How are you? Hajimemashite. Watashi wa Philippines, Susmita-sen. Pardon me, my Japanese is not fluent.
What do you think about that scene, Fernandino teens? Is it frozen, consultative, or formal? Correct! It is formal since it seems like our two characters' first meeting. Now let us have this last one. It is a very short scene inspired from a popular Korean drama series released in 2017, which were top-billed by sweetheart Kim Ji-won and heartthrob Park Seo-joon, which led him to win that year's Baeksang Awards Best Actor.
Dog Man!
Hey! What is it? Why are you calling my name?
You scared me!
What do you think about that scene, Fernandino teens? Is it frozen, consultative, or casual? Did you think it was frozen? You're right. Ji-won's character, acting like an announcer and saying lines that an announcer would usually say, is frozen style. However, Seo-joon's dialogue is considered as casual. since you can see the comfort he feels towards G1. This shows that two people may use different communicative styles when conversing, and it depends on the context or the situation. Did you have fun in our short exercise? Our friends surely gave us a performance of a lifetime. While you were identifying the communicative style or speech style in the given scenes through the words that they used, what else have you observed about the characters they portrayed? Yes, not only did they express emotions and their thoughts through dialogue, but there were also distinct facial expressions, hand movements, and gestures that they used in order for us to understand better the message they want to impart. And in the words of esteemed educator and author Peter Drucker, the most important thing in communication is to hear what isn't being said. Not only do we have to be careful of our words, but we must also be aware of our bodily movements when we speak, or even if we don't say a single word. A small smile, a tiny lift of a brow, your hands in your pocket, and even your short glance can make or break the success of a conversation. Sometimes, your facial reactions and inappropriate stance can actually cause miscommunication. And of course, being misunderstood is something that we must avoid all the time. These facial expressions, hand movements, and posture, including the tone of your voice, are called nonverbal cues. Your nonverbal communication cues, the way you listen, look, move, and react, tell the person you are communicating with whether or not you care, if you are being truthful, and how well you are listening. When your nonverbal signals match up with the words you are saying, they increase trust, clarity, and rapport. When they don't, they can generate tension, mistrust, and confusion. More of these when Fernandina Teens TV returns.
Maya po oras kaya kayo, Fernandinos. Ako pala ay Elwin Arl Serrano ng City Tourism Office ng Siyudad San Fernando. Ngayong bulan na ini, pagmasusyantaya ang National Heritage Month na ating temang Victory and Humanity, Upholding Filipino Heritage and Identity. Kambena nini, metong karang aktibidades na ng siyudad, apin ng launching ng bayong Heritage Passport. Yung Heritage Passport, apin ng metong karing proyekto ng kaya katamong siyudad, yung pamanamuna ng Mayor Edwin D. Santiago. Anong nuka rin makalagelangan ding egan-agan ng heritage sites, heritage structures, na akit tamo kin kay katamong heritage district. Makakayado din kini, ding importansya da ding mapil na tradisyon kay ni syudad, kalupa na ning pamangawang parol, ang po yung pamangalesa. May awo siyang heritage passport, uling atin kang dapat gawan, anong nuka rin puntalan mula ding at yung passport, at saka ka mag-selfie. Kay ba't kanta, palto making tourism office, at mamiyalang sticker ka rin egan-agan ang apuntulan mong lugar. At timaw may ngari ang tutong passport. Balo mi ngeni, panahon na ini, etamo makain bisa lumal, uli na ng COVID-19 pandemic. Kaya naman kimbanwa nga ini, agkatan ko la ding bikers tamo, edad 18 hanggang 50, imbis na lumaot kayo po, di na nyo lang dita ka oras di kaya katamong heritage structures kaya ni syudad. Anya naman karing mumunang 50 bikers ang makayari kaya katamong heritage passport, midinan lang premyong only San Fernando loot bag. Inggawan nyo mo bakan ta makapag-register, munta kayo mismo opisina na ng City Tourism, king munisipyo, at saka kayo magdalang metong valid ID. Kabinan kaya kayong heritage passport, ating makasipit ang instruction nung nano pa ing dapat gawan. Anya naman ka rin hanggang kapadyakin, nanano ko pa, tara na!
Fernandino Teens TV.
Welcome back, Fernandino Teens. You are still here with me, Ma'am Kim. To make nonverbal cues more clear to you, let us hash out its different examples. One important nonverbal cue is your facial expressions. The human face is extremely expressive and is able to convey countless emotions without saying a word. Take it from Mimia and Yaya Dub. For example, these personalities have extreme facial expressions, and unlike some forms of nonverbal communication, facial expressions are universal. The facial expressions for happiness, sadness, anger, surprise, fear, and disgust are the same across cultures. Body movements and posture are also valued aspects that you need to focus on. Consider how your perceptions of people are affected by the way they sit, walk, stand, or hold their head. Take a look at these two female fictional characters, Komunyong of It Is Okay Not to Be Okay, and Bella Swan of Twilight. Just by looking at them, you already know who exudes confidence and who is very timid and shy. The way you move and carry yourself communicates a wealth of information to the world. This type of nonverbal communication includes your posture, bearing, stance, and the subtle movements that you make. One of the types of body movement is gestures. Gestures are woven into the fabric of our daily lives. The term may be new to you, but this is something that we all are very much familiar with. You may wave, point, beckon, or use your hands when arguing or speaking animatedly, often expressing yourself with gestures without thinking. However, the meaning of some gestures can be very different across cultures. While the OK sign made with the hand, for example, usually conveys a positive message in English-speaking countries, it is considered offensive in countries such as Germany, Russia, and Brazil. So it is important to be careful of how you use gestures to avoid misinterpretation. And these gestures could also reflect in the recent trends like the finger heart, or more known as Oppa sign. And who could forget the iconic Vulcan salute popularized by Star Trek's Spock. Next is eye contact. Aside from hand movements, your eyes also hold so much meaning, and eye contact is one that we must practice in conversing. The way you look at someone can communicate many things, including interest, affection, hostility, or attraction. Eye contact is also important in maintaining the flow of conversation and for gauging the other person's interest and response. Egyptian-American author Yahya Lababidi even said, "Eye contact is how souls catch fire." Touch also sends a message. We communicate a great deal through touch. Think about the very different messages given by a weak handshake, a warm bear hug, a patronizing pat on the head, or a controlling grip on the arm, for example. A simple tap, graze, or push can create infinite connections, just like how Tony Stark hugged Peter Parker in that Avengers Endgame movie. Oops, spoiler! Space is also a factor on how well or bad a conversation may go. Have you ever felt uncomfortable during a conversation because the other person was standing too close and invading your space? We all have a need for physical space, although that need differs depending on the culture, the situation, and the closeness of the relationship. You can use physical space to communicate many different nonverbal messages, including signals of intimacy and affection, aggression, or dominance. Just please guys, remember that a no is a no, and that consent is necessary. Even Mariah Carey sang about that. I don't know if you have not heard this, but your voice matters. It is not just what you say, it is how you say it. When you speak, other people read your voice in addition to listening to your words. Things they pay attention to include your timing and pace, how loud you speak, your tone and inflection, and sounds that convey understanding, such as ah and uh-huh. Think about how your tone of voice can indicate sarcasm, anger, affection, or confidence. If you are not careful, you might end up always looking like you are so full of anger like Maha Salvador's character in her hit show, Wildflower. To sum it up, Fernandino teens, we have 7 examples of nonverbal cues: facial expressions, body movement and posture, gestures, touch, eye contact, space, and voice. I hope you understood everything I discussed because you were in for a little exercise that I would like to call Emote na Emote. In this game, I will be presenting sample pictures of nonverbal cues and you will be identifying whether it is appropriate for the given situation or not. For each situation, you are given 5 seconds to answer on our Facebook live chat. Type yes if it is appropriate and proper, and type no if it is not. Are you guys ready? Tara, G! Situation 1. Your alarm did not work and now you are late for class. Does this picture capture the appropriate reaction for the situation? You have 5 seconds to type in your answer. Of course not. I'm not saying that you must panic, but if you are already running late, you must at least show that you regret it by being in a hurry. Let us have another one. Situation 2. A stranger is asking you for directions. Does this picture capture the appropriate reaction for the situation? You have 5 seconds to type in your answer. Was your answer yes? That's correct. Even though you don't know this person, you must always be approachable to anyone who is asking you for help. Instead of avoiding people all the time, yes, you must be careful in dealing with strangers, but a small act of kindness goes a long way. Let us see the next one. Situation 3. A friend is talking non-stop about her favorite TV show. Does this picture capture the appropriate reaction for the situation? You have 5 seconds to type in your answer. That annoyed face is never appropriate for Nandino teens. No matter how tiring a conversation gets, it is completely impolite to show annoyance about a person's interests even if it is different from yours. Especially if they are your friends, you must always feign interest and excitement to what they say. And now for the last one, Situation 4. A teacher corrects you and tells you that there is something wrong with your report. Does this picture capture the appropriate reaction for the situation? You have 5 seconds to type in your answer. The correct answer is no. Being corrected or critiqued is a part of growing up and an essential ingredient for progress. I'm not saying that people in authorities are always right, but many things can be solved by a peaceful conversation. And if talking does not work, that is the time to think of other ways to achieve peace. Did you enjoy that short game, Fernandino teens? I hope in this exercise you learned that there are many ways to do things. There are many ways to express your thoughts, to share those feelings that you have. There is more than one way to send your message across, and so there must be much thought in choosing your words and manner of expressions. There is no such thing as being too careful nowadays, particularly in the time of the emergence of social media, the internet, and this whole other dimension called the online world. A single post, tweet, comment, or a meme you shared can potentially ruin your image. Did you know that there are 73 million Filipino users of the internet since January 2020? That encompasses 67% of our current population. And according to Statista, as of March 2019, 86% of Filipino internet users are aged 24 years old and below. It is said that every day, an average Filipino spends 4 hours at minimum. If you sleep 8 hours at night, then that is literally 1/4 of your day. There are so many things happening from the internet, and sadly, not everything is positive. The language people use online are quite frankly almost always rated as PG. And it goes without saying that we must be careful of what we post. Think before you click is what they always say. But is anyone really listening? Are you proud of everything that you have posted on your online wall? UNICEF reported that cyber violence affects almost half of Filipino children ages 13 to 17. 1/3 of cyber violence experienced by Filipino children are in the form of verbal abuse over the internet or cell phone. So before you share a funny picture of your friend, before leaving a comment about a person's appearance, and before hitting that dislike button, ask yourself first, what would you feel if you were on the other end? Learning is indeed everywhere. Up next will be a short activity to check if you have learned something from today's episode. Please stay with us.
Hindi lamang sa larangan ng pangkabuhayan apektado ang maraming pamilyang Pilipino, kundi maging sa larangan ng pagkatuto ng bawat batang Pilipino. Inilunsad ng siyudad ng San Fernando ang programang Nurturing Environment and System for Thriving or NEST, isang education community pantry na naglalayon para sa isang malawakang pagtulong, paglantabay at paggabay na ang focus ay ang makapagbigay ng tulong at suporta sa ating mga mag-aaral sa pamamagitan ng pagbibigay ng educational needs gaya na lamang ng school supplies, tutorial sessions, study tips, at iba pang mga pamamaraan na mas lalong makatutulong sa pag-angat ng ating edukasyon. Dahil hindi hadlang ang pandemya sa magandang kinabukasang naghihintay sa ating mga mag-aaral. Sino-sino nga ba ang mga kalahok sa programang ito? Sa pagtutulungan ng ating school administrators, guro, magulang, at iba pang mga miyembro ng ating komunidad gaya ng barangay officials at sangguniang kabataan ay siguradong magiging mas matagumpay ang programang ito. Paano nga ba ang magiging proseso ng naturang programa? Una, magkakaroon tayo ng isang Facebook group, ang Pampanga High School NEST Education Community Pantry na pangungunahan ng Educational Pantry Coordinator. Ang mga magulang, tagapangalaga at mga guro ay ia-add ng ating Educational Pantry members sa Facebook group na ito. Sa page na ito maaaring i-post ng mga magulang at tagapangalaga o sino mang miyembro ng Educational Pantry ang kanilang mga kahilingan o requests. Kailangan ding ilagay ang pangalan ng mag-aaral, grade at section para sa mas agarang aksyon. Oo nga pala, hindi lang requests ang pwedeng i-post. Pwede ring mag-post ang mga nais magbigay ng tulong o mga gustong mag-donate. Sabi nga nila, sharing is caring. Tandaan na ang Facebook group na ito ay pribado at posts na may kaugnayan lamang sa page na ito ang maaaprobahan. Mayroon din palang Google Form na ipamamahagi kung saan maaari nating isumite ang ating requests o kahilingan. Paano naman ang mga walang internet access sa bahay? Huwag mangamba dahil merong mga nakalaang drop boxes ang ating paaralan na kung saan maaaring ihulog ng mga magulang at tagapangalaga ang kanilang requests. Sa mga nais namang mag-donate ng school supplies, maaaring ilagay ang mga ito sa tabi ng drop boxes. Maaari ring mag-donate ng mga kagamitan o cash donation kaakibat ang pagsusumite ng deed of donation form. Pangalawa, mahalaga ang ugnayan ng mga guro at ng mga magulang o tagapangalaga sa programang ito. Gamit ang video calls o chats ay ipahahayag ng mga guro ang adhikain ng programang ito sa mga magulang o tagapangalaga. Maaari ring gawin ang orientation na ito ng face-to-face, kasabay ng schedule ng kuhanan ng mga module. Gaya ng nabanggit, hindi lamang mga bagay ang maaaring i-donate. Pwede ring mag-conduct ng tutorial session, study tips, at iba pang mga kagamitan sa pagkatuto gaya ng mga aklat o kaya ay gadgets. Ikatlo, ang requested needs ng ating mga magulang o tagapangalaga ay ililista ng ating NEST focal person. Ang mga coordinator naman ang mag-aayos ng mga ito. Ang advisors ng ating mga mag-aaral, guidance counselor, at iba pang mga guro ay ipaaalam sa ating mga magulang at tagapangalaga ang petsa at oras ng pamimigay ng requested needs na gaganapin sa paaralan. Sabi nga nila, it takes a village to raise a child. Kaya naman aktibo at iba yung pakikilahok ang inaasahan sa pagsasanib puwersa ng paaralan at barangay na siyang tutukoy sa pangangailangan ng bawat Fernandinong mag-aaral at kikilos upang matugunan ito sa tulong at suporta rin ng mga miyembro ng komunidad. Isang malawakang komunidad para sa isang produktibong educational community pantry ay tiyak na lilikha ng iba yung pagkilos upang maging mas magaan at madali ang pagkatuto ng bawat kabataang Fernandino. Kaya naman tandaan, magbigay ayon sa kakayahan, kumuha ayon sa pangangailangan.
Fernandino Teens TV.
You're still tuned into Fernandino Teens TV. We're at the last minutes of our session, but we still have a lot to learn. Looking back, can you tell me the 5 types of communicative or speech styles? Perfect! The types are frozen, formal, consultative, casual, and intimate. What about the 7 examples of nonverbal cues? Amazing! They are indeed the facial expressions, body movement and posture, gestures, eye contact, touch, space, and voice. Let us continue deepening our knowledge through this activity called Let Us Surmise. I will be showing you excerpts from the stories which were winners in the esteemed the Palanca Awards or Don Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards for Literature, which is referred to as the Pulitzer Prize of the Philippines. It is the country's highest literary honor in terms of prestige. As I read the passages, follow with your eyes and be able to identify the communicative style used. Then, indicate the nonverbal cues which were started. This first passage is a short excerpt taken from Bienvenido and Santos's Even Purple Heart, which won the award on the year of 1952. This is a conversation between our two characters, a girl and a soldier, at the beginning of the short story. Let me read the passage. Have you been here long? You mean in Washington? Yes. Less than a year, including the months at Wolverine. Oh, said the girl, her eyes seeking the bead of purple on the lapel of his blue jacket. Yes, ma'am, he said. Which communicative style is used in this passage? Is it formal, frozen, or intimate? The answer is formal. Based on the conversation, these two have never met before, and so they use formal words such as ma'am. How about the nonverbal cues that they may use? Could they be A, sitting close to each other, or B, sitting at a distance? Correct! It is B, sitting at a distance. Since they are strangers, they may not be comfortable enough to sit too close with each other. This next passage is a short excerpt taken from 2019 winner Best for Serafina by Raiji Degia. This is a phone conversation between two characters, Serafina and her daughter. Let me read the passage. Elnora, Serafina would say. Nay, it's Nori. Her daughter would reply. Nori, I'm not as young as I used to be. I'll die soon. That is how their conversation often went. There was a butterfly. The wings were black. In the house yesterday, she told Elnora through the receiver of her cell phone that resembled a brick. It touched my shoulder. Nora, please. I'll see what I can do. Which communicative style is used in this passage? Is it consultative, casual, or intimate? The answer is casual. Since it is a conversation between a parent and child, you may think it is intimate. But because the daughter corrected her mother on the name she called her, it is pretty evident that they are not that close. How about the non-verbal cues that they may use? Since it is a phone call, what facial expressions would the daughter have? Is it A, tired and exhausted, or B, happy and excited? Correct! It is A, tired and exhausted. Since there are no indications that she is happy to speak to her mother again. That is an unfortunate relationship. This last passage is a short excerpt taken also from 1952 winner The Virgin by Guillermo Solera. It is a story that revolves around the still single 34-year-old woman who works as a human resource manager and a man she interviews for a job. Let me read the passage. The new hand was absent for a week. Miss Mijares waited on that Tuesday he first failed to report for some word from him sent to Ato and sent to her. That was regulation. Briefly though, they were held, the bureau jobs were not ones to take chances with. When a man was absent and he sent no word, it upset the system. In the absence of a definite notice, someone else who needed a job badly was kept away from it. I went to the province, ma'am, he said on his return. You could have sent someone to tell us, she said. It was an disappointed because based on the excerpt, she had to go through the trouble of finding a replacement because he did not show up. Being unprofessional is quite disappointing. How did you find the activity? Well, I sincerely hope you enjoyed learning with me today, Fernandino teens. You know, you are already doing great the moment you decide to do well. Through this simple presentation, I hope I helped you be familiar with the communicative styles and nonverbal cues that you can apply in your daily conversations. And I just want to say that maybe movies, TV series, books, and stories that you are comfortable in indulging to stream content and learn new things, I hope you are choosing what you watch, read, and listen to. According to Matthew Kelly, we become the books that we read. And nowadays, you are what you read, watch, and view. Whatever you let your mind accept, your heart becomes. And the words we speak show what is in our hearts. If our hearts are evil, then the words we speak and write will be evil too. In James chapter 3, verse 8, God's word says, "No human being can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison." And if we cannot speak of good things, maybe it is time for us for a change of heart. Before we end, here are the references I used in the presentation. Once again, this is Kimberly B. Machas, your teacher presenter for today. Thank you very much and happy learning!
Yun naman pala, napakaraming paraan para masabi natin ang mga gusto nating sabihin.
Oo nga, at mabigat talaga ang responsibilidad natin sa bawat salita na ating gagamitin.
Tama kayo dyan. Lalo na sa panahon ngayon na halos lahat ay naipopost natin sa internet. Kailangan tayo ay maingat.
Napakarami na naman nating natutuhan ngayong araw. Kaya naman,
Maraming salamat,
ma'am.
Isa na namang makabuluhang talakayan ng ating natunghayan, Fernandino Teens.
Samahan ninyo kaming muli sa susunod na episode na
Fernandino
Teens
TV,
na kung saan
ang kabataang Fernandino ay angat sa aking talino.
Yakapin mo ang bagong pag-asa. Simulan mong abutin ang iyong pangarap na magbibigay dangal sa iyong bukas. Ang suliranin, hindi laging nandyan, dapat mong harapin. Kami iyong kasama sa bawat takin, magkaakbay nating lulutasin. Sa Fernandino Teens TV, ang boses mo ay mahalaga. Dito sa Fernandino Teens TV, ikaw lagi ang bida. Ang mga aral ay ginintuang atin ng bawat guro na siyang gagabay sa iyong pagkamulat. Naway umukit ito sa iyong isipan, maging